What do you mean I'm too old? Hey Internet, it's the Wombat. So, I wanted to talk today about something that happened just a couple weeks ago. I was walking around, minding my own business, talking to my camera, as vloggers are wont to do, and I hear out of the corner of my eye some youngish voice murmur something around the words, "Isn't he a little too old to be a vlogger?" Now, too old? Too old? Let me school you, son. My generation is the Nintendo generation. Right? So I grew up with ColecoVision, Atari 2600. We had the little football game that was just literally like little cursor. That was it. That was it. There was no internet. We didn't walk to school both ways uphill. Sure, we had it much easier than our parents. But I'll be damned if we got to check our phones on the way there. Your phone was attached to a wall. So yeah, get off my lawn. But that's not the point. The point is every generation sees the generation that came before it as being out of touch. Meanwhile, the generation that came before sees the generation that comes after as being out of touch. And you can see that sort of in the way things are going on in this country right at the moment. Adults are not happy when kids step out of their predefined roles, right? And that's the way it's been since the beginning of time, right? I think kids have a tendency to rebel, and then they grow up and then get angry when their kids rebel. But what I wanted to focus on today was sort of the idea of being a creator and an artist and what that means to the world. You see, since I was little, I've written, I've drawn, I've done all kinds of things. I have always been creative. And I have done my best to express that creativity in one way or another my entire life. I'll admit, I have went through periods where I wasn't very creative. I went through periods where I thought it was silly and stupid. I have done my best to sabotage my own creativity at times, which a lot of artists do. We never think we're good enough. We never think we're talented enough, etc. And that goes for YouTube, right? Because this is a form of art. This is a form of expression. This is a form of creation that allows users like me to connect with viewers like you. And it doesn't matter if I'm 42, 41, 18, 65, 107. None of that matters. What matters is getting the creativity and doing something with it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a story time. So, when I was younger, I suffered from horrible dreams. And as I got older, I learned to sort of recognize when I was going to have a bad dream. Now, what happens with that is I could, in a sense, remove myself from a situation that I knew was going to be bad. And I started having one particular dream that sort of caught me. There was an arcade in our mall called Tilt. And Tilt was your normal, everyday mall arcade. Small, had a bunch of games, stuff like that. I was never allowed to go in it when I was little because that was where the big kids hung out. And my dad and mom were really into video games. Though they took my Nintendo and would hold it in their rooms because my mom really liked playing Kid Icarus. but that's neither here nor there. So, back to the dream. In the dream, I walk into Tilt, and in the middle of the floor of Tilt is a huge fountain. Now, not in the waking world, no, but in this world, it's a huge fountain, and it's got Virgin pouring the water out of the, that in it, and it amazed me because it's a fountain in the middle of an arcade. I went to the fountain to throw a penny or a token or whatever the hell in it, and when I looked into it, there was somebody in the fountain looking back at me. Now, it wasn't my reflection, it was a young girl, and she was beckoning me to come down into the fountain. And this is one of those situations where my mind is going, yeah, you don't want to do that. That's drowny place. But I went. And the dream gets blurry, sort of, after that. I remember playing with this girl. I remember her not talking. But regardless, it was a very fantasy-like world. I could hear water dripping in the background. It was very dark. I woke up. Cool dream. Went to school. The strange thing happened when the next night I fell asleep and I was standing back in Tilt. And there was the fountain. And repeat. So this repeated for, I don't know, probably a couple weeks at least. Where it was just the dream of the night before would pick up and go forward. Now at this time I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I started writing. I had read The Hobbit, which Tolkien absolutely ruined me for any other genre for a number of years. I was a fantasy hardcore. I loved high fantasy. I came up with a world called Ethereum. And Ethereum has driven my passion for creativity since that point. I have built an entire world in my head. Characters, lives, love, hate, war, everything you could possibly think of in a world. Languages, races, all of it has been built. And there are influences of many of the different fantasy things that I've read through my life. Of course, because no idea is 100% original. But it is my world. And I'm very protective of my world. I did a webcomic for a number of years called Tears and Pain that was about the main characters in this world, because I have the world set in different time periods. So there's the pre-celestial age, then there's sort of the first dawning of mortality, then there's the sort of high fantasy, then modern day, then post-apocalyptic, then far-flung future. And throughout each of these ages, there's a main cast of 5 characters who exist in all these ages. Their names might change a little, but they're still these same 5 core characters. And they've always been there, they always will. I know them. I know their personalities. I have conversations with them. This is not a voice thing in my head. I mean, like when I'm writing, I know kind of what they would say. Okay. So, and that has never stopped. Not from the time I was 9 years old and started writing about it. And I pray that it never will. And I will go into Ethereum more as things go along with the blog, because it is a story that claws at my mind if I don't get it out. Gonna have a part of my soul in Ethereum at 40, at 50, at 90, until the day I die. Don't restrict others, and don't restrict yourself because you think you're too old to do something. If you have a passion to create, if you have a passion to express yourself, there is nothing on this planet that can stop you except yourself. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please hit that like button, comment below. Have you had any weird dreams in your life? Is there anything that's influenced sort of your creativity? Do you feel that you're too young or too old to have a creative expression? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. I would love if you would subscribe. Make it easier for you to find me next time. I post 5 days a week. And I'd like to keep doing that. So show me some love. Click that subscribe button below. Like, comment, ring the little bell so notifications show up whenever I post a new video. You're the internet. I'm the Wombat. And until we talk again, have a great night. What I remember most about the girl is that she never told me her name. I had the dreams for a number of weeks. I went years without having the dreams. Started having the dreams again, and she had grown up. The last time I had the dream, I badgered her to tell me her name. And then I never had that dream again.